All right then. Hello everybody, Gaz Williams here. Thank you so much for joining me. I am now trying to get into this Tuesday night slot. Haven't done a Wednesday night for many years, so hopefully this Tuesday night slot will work. I haven't fully decided on the time that I'll be going out, but something like this, I think, around 9:30. So hope everybody's well, and yeah, great. I've got such an exciting show planned tonight. I've been wanting to share this for a very long time, and some of you may have seen my little trailer video that I've done for the Mutable Challenge. And so what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to explain everything about it, the origin of the idea, and just what's going to be happening over the next few months, because there's going to be quite a bit of action around this Mutable Instruments rig, as I will reveal. Hello everybody. Hello Sloan. Hello Go Big Red. Hello Arcaton. Lee Camp. Hello Matt Brown. Hello James Glue. Hello. Great. Okay, thank you. Thomas Jan. Hello. So, wow. Yes, we're already filling up nice. So I'm just gonna waffle a little bit just while we are just getting going. Just having our live audience join. Of course, this stream is up as well after the fact. So if you're watching this after I've streamed live, thank you as well for watching. So yeah. Okay, I'm just waiting for about another 30 seconds or so, and then we're going to get stuck in. So hope everyone's well. I haven't been doing live streams for a while, but I do, as I say, I'm going to try and do it weekly here on in, or certainly when I can, and on a Tuesday night. So see how that works. Yeah, great. God, loads has been going on in my world. A lot to do with synthesizers and a lot to do with modular. I know some of you are not modular heads, but yeah, I've definitely turned a corner with it all, and I'm really kind of quite excited about what the future holds for me, really, regarding modular. Rack Records, the label that I've helped set up with Steve Davis. We've got our first vinyl release happening soon, and we've got a bunch of albums kind of waiting in the wings now as well. So once we get our vinyl out, I will mention it on the show closer to the release date of the vinyl, in case any of you want to. We're just going to do very short limited runs. So yeah, okay, I think we should really get into things now. Okay, yes, nice to see you all joining the live stream, really appreciate that. Okay, right, okay, so the Mutable Challenge. Let's have a look what we got. So here we have the rig, and I'm calling it the Museum. Steve had actually referred to it as the Museum, so I've just modified Museum a little bit to get the Mutable Instruments name in there. And we can see Sloan has done an amazing job on the graphics and making this rig look absolutely wonderful. So yes, this is an entire Mutable Instruments rig, and there's every module that they released. Every module, more or less, Mark IIs, wherever they've done a Mark II. So Veils Mark II, Ripples Mark II, Shades Mark II, Tides Mark II. I think that's all the Mark IIs. On the bottom are the older modules, and we can tell because they've got this color scheme, and the top modules, they've sort of dropped it. I mean, there's a few that have been around for a while in the top as well, but by and large we've got the old ones, and then this top one more or less is the final layout of the final modules that they had, because of course Mutable Instruments sort of ceased operation in 2022, I think it was, and it was a real shame. I'd only been into modular for a couple of years at that point, and it just felt, oh my God, it's like the Beatles breaking up or something. It's like, no, not Mutable. But part of the reason for me doing this is because I want to celebrate this absolutely extraordinary company, and in kind of less than 10 years, everything that they released, it was incredible, but absolutely amazingly open sourced everything. The software for the digital modules, but also the schematics and for the hardware too. This is like an enormous gift to the world. It really is. And for that's why the museum exists and the Mutable Challenge, because I want to celebrate this incredible contribution. We're seeing the code appear in so many places, be it on the computer or in hardware, and in other modules, but also, famously the Micro Freak featured a lot of plats, so we're going to go through the rig a little bit. And I just wanted to clarify a few things, because some people are saying, oh, it's not complete because there isn't an Anushri in here, there isn't a CV PAL in here, or there isn't Sheep either. Sheep was an alternative firmware for Tides Mark 1, but I do believe, although I can't absolutely find this out, but that the wavetable synth that you could run on Tides, I think does appear in other modules, or a lot of the same code. Like there is like a synth hiding in rings, isn't there? There's a really peculiar way of setting all the knobs in a particular order, a particular way, and you can get it to turn it into this synth. So that's one thing that is very Mutable Instruments is Easter eggs, and a lot of the modules feature Easter eggs. Now, just want to clarify a few things as well. The alternative firmwares, of which quite a lot of these modules can run these alternate firmwares. For the sake of the museum, we're just running all of the last firmware, official firmware, which in the case of things like warps is kind of a bit of a shame. I love the Parasites module. I think it transforms warps, and I really like it. However, for the challenge, no alternative firmware, so all stock firmware. Okay, so I mentioned the challenge. I mean, what do I mean by like a challenge? Well, I suppose challenge is a bit of a strange word to use in a way, but the basic idea is you take the Mutable rig, this complete rig, and you get given 1 hour, and then I film the results, and I see what can happen. What can you find from an unpatched to a patched system? What will you do with it? And I'm going to take the challenge tonight. So I'm going to do it. I might not do it for the full hour, but I'm certainly going to do I'm going to do the challenge so we can see how it'll work. Now, I've already filmed 4 challenges so far with some really quite well-known in our world people have taken the challenge so far. I'm not going to say anything yet about who those people are. I'll let you speculate about that. But needless to say, there will be these challenges coming out on my YouTube channel. And the really exciting news is this Saturday, I'm going over to the Netherlands, to Rotterdam for the Dutch Modular Fest, which I'm so excited about. Going over with friends Ryan and Eric. They're going to be coming with me. We're going to go over for the festival, and I'm going to be running the Mutable Challenge at the Dutch Modular Fest. And we've got 4 different people who are going to be taking the challenge. I'll read out who those are, actually. Let me just get that detail up. So the Dutch Modular Fest sounds really fun. I mean, there's a good established scene in the Netherlands for modular. So I think I think that's going to have, so I think that's going to be a really, really cool event. So I'm not sure if any of you who are watching this are going to be going, but it's just a single day event. But yeah, so let me just read this out then. So we're going to have at 1 p.m. Younger Son is going to be taking part. Now, I met Younger at Super Booth this year, and Younger was fantastic and has told me that he's got almost all of them. I think he was just looking for an Edges. Now, I'll talk a little bit about Edges later, but I think Younger has almost got the whole set. At 2:30, we've got Mandy Baker. At 4 p.m, we've got August Boyerberger. August Boyerberger. I'm sorry, August. That's a really tricky surname to pronounce. But and then at 5:30, we've got Paul Tass taking the challenge. So those 4 people are going to be doing the challenge at on a small little stage at the Dutch Modular Fest. So that's going to be really fun. And in fact, here, Mr. Bart Wolf. Oh yes, thank you so much. Aha. Okay, so there's the proper names there. Oh, it's Paul Tass of Cre8 Instruments. Okay, interesting. Great. So Bart, thank you so much for joining tonight. Bart is the organizer of the Dutch Modular Fest, and we talked last year about me coming over last year, but that didn't happen. But this year I saw Bart, and we talked about this, doing the Mutable Challenge at the Dutch Modular Fest. So really, really exciting that this is actually going to happen. So super thrilled about that. And of course, everybody, you're all going to be able to see the videos once that's all happened. So keep tuned to the channel then, and hopefully this Mutable Challenge is going to be something that'll. I'm hoping that there's going to be some like educational aspects of it, and also some fun aspects of it, and some good musical aspects of it. Now, when you do the challenge, you are free to do whatever you want. If you want to make music, play tunes on it, you can. If you want to just do sound design, you can. If you want to just create completely chaotic randomness, you can. You are free to do whatever you want on the challenge. The only stipulation is that I just really want it to utilize some of the really unique qualities of these wonderful modules. So that's kind of the idea, is to try and find, to try and bring out some of the really great things that are lurking inside these modules. So in a moment, I'll just go a quick tour, and I say quick because I could spend ages. I filmed with some of the people who've taken the challenge. I filmed some conversations as well about the modules in depth. So that'll be coming later, so on my channel. So I won't go too much into the depth of the modules today, but I am really keen to to try the challenge myself, and I've got some ideas of which way I want to go with it, but I'll explain as I'm going along my thoughts and why. Now, a few things to clarify as well. We're going to switch over to the system here. And we can see that other than the mutable rig, and these are all mutable, the only one that isn't is a little 2 HP ALM headphone. I wanted just to make sure that you could use it totally standalone. But the new addition to the challenge, I didn't have this for some of the challenges that I filmed, is the assembler from Cre8 Audio. So that can take Eurorack level, and it's got auxiliary sends, so we could kind of use things like beads or clouds as an effect on an effect send. So options there for people. Mutable never actually did like a proper sort of mixer. There's lots of modules that can mix, like shades and blinds, veils. What else can mix a little bit? Frames. But no sort of mix, no real mixer with pan and sends and that kind of thing. So having another little mixer it does make sense. But it's optional. If you wanted to, you could just use that just for the connection to the speakers and mix inside. Again, the choice, that's entirely up to the challenger. Now, I also, and this is the controversial thing, is I've got here a MIDI keyboard. In this case, it's an Arturia key step, and there's been some debate about the inclusion of this. But one of the modules is Yarns, which is a MIDI interface, so it would be pointless having that in there if you didn't have a MIDI keyboard connected to it. But, whether you use the sequencer that's built in to the key step, again, I'm sort of like leaving that open. If you want to use it, you can, because it could be quite handy. Just, it's kind of certainly quick and easy just to get sequences going. You do have a SH101 type sequencer built into Yarns, so I'd kind of prefer it if people use Yarns for that purpose. But I've decided that I think that, if this just helps people along, then I think it's cool. I think it's fine to use it. So it's connected via MIDI, but this keyboard does have CV and gate outs as well. I suppose you could use them if you wanted to as well. Also, we have got... I didn't know these existed at first, but Tom Curtin, my good friend Tom, told me about them. But these bags are the official Mutable Instruments cables, and they came in the 2 colour schemes, and the cables are indeed in the Mutable. Now, if you're thinking these bags are looking a bit packed, Steve Davis kindly donated me his Mutable cables as well, so we got plenty of official cables. And I also want to say a big thank you as well to synthcables.com, because they supplied some of the utility cables that I'm using as well. So yes, thank you, that was very kind. So yeah, synth cables, really good. One of the things that's quite funny about these official Mutable cables, though, is they are chunky. They are big fat cables. And as we know now, in Eurorack anyway, skinny cables are all the rage. You can, I've replaced a lot of these fatter cables on my live rigs with skinny cables. But as we'll see, once you start patching up with these big ones, it gets quite dense quite quickly. Okay, sorry, I've not been watching live chat. But yeah, hello everyone again who's join in. Hello Tracker Jack. Hello Exit 101. God, I think, hey Technomadic, nice to see you, mate. Synchrotron. Yeah, okay, cool. Nice to see. Hello Tanish. Yeah, nice. Okay, I'm sorry if I've missed anyone out. The Clough as well. Okay, right. I'll skip on from that, but thank you. So I'm probably going to not see too much of the chat just because I'm going to be quite focused on this. So I will take questions. But in fact, if anyone's got any questions now, maybe it's a good time to, before I get stuck in, you can ask me some questions. Please put put 2 Qs at the start, 2-letter Qs at the start of the question, so I can see, it'll make it stand out a little bit more, so I won't miss the question. But yeah, it'd be great if you've got any questions, about this, and then yeah, please ask now, and we'll have another chance for questions later as well. So yeah, so I'll keep an eye on the chat. Right, but okay, let's go back here. Okay, so I think I've explained the things of the mixer and the MIDI keyboard, but really, obviously, the Mutable Instruments modules are the real stars, obviously. Yeah, so older modules, newer modules, and yeah, every module. And it was just an extraordinary coincidence, really stunningly extraordinary coincidence, that they all fit into 2 Arturia rack brutes. It's just amazing, like just by chance, There's 2 HP spare, I think, in the whole rig. Yeah, it's astonishing. It's astonishing. Oh, there's 1 HP here. Oh no, I think that's because there's a rogue 1 HP, I think, on these rack brutes. But yeah, so yeah, the ALM little headphone there is just there for yeah. Okay, a few more things as well. The challengers will have they can use an oscilloscope. So I've got this little neat little Korg one, which actually I'm finding that really, really handy. They can use that. There's a little bag of bits. There's some mults and some cable tidies and some cable portals, just to maybe try and keep things a bit neater. And then we've got a microphone, and then that microphone can plug into ears. I'll talk about ears in a moment. So there are vocoder options and other ways of processing vocal. Okay, I saw a question come in. Let me just get that question up. What direction are you thinking sounds patch? Yeah, so again, that's going to be up to whoever takes the challenge. You know, they can go in whatever direction. Myself now, I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a patch, I think, around using frames. I think I'm going to use frames and marbles. This is something that I've played around with before. So I'll set up a patch with that. I think there's some brilliant stuff with that now. I'll just check if I missed any more questions. Oh, you only have 1 module elements. Yeah, it's brilliant elements. I'm not very good with it though. I tend to think it's holding a lot of I think it's holding a lot of sounds that I haven't yet managed to find. We have the ProSynth Network joining us. Is that Robbie? But yeah, not the biggest fan of modular, but maybe we can turn him. Tim Dale, hello. Oh, great. We're getting a nice crowd here. Lovely. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so if everyone hasn't got any questions, I'm going to plow on, and then I won't be watching the chat for a bit, so I will miss stuff. But feel free to chat as you normally do. It's great. Thanks again for joining me. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see. Spaghetti Fest. I'm understanding. Okay. Right. So as I said, I'm just going to give a quick introduction to each of the modules. I'll start with the older ones. And so Yarns, as I mentioned, is a MIDI interface. Is also a very simple sequencer. Can do arpeggiations. It can also be configured to be all sorts of different layouts. So it could be like a mono. You could do it as a mono synth where all of the outputs, velocity and modulation, etc. Clock out. It can also be like a poly, an interface for making a polysynth where every note comes out of a different CV gate, so you can have like 4 voices. Then edges. Now, I should say that I've just installed this Yarns. This is mine. Previous challenges that I've filmed of I was borrowing Tom Curtin's Yarns, so thank you for that, Tom. That was great. But now I've replaced it with my own. And here, Edges is the only module that's not mine. This is a really difficult module to find. It's the rarest of them all. And it's essentially like a chiptune module. It's a 4-channel chiptune. This belongs to Monojack from Beep Boop, who's like a Bristol-based modular maker, and really brilliant. Jack's going to come on the show at some point, and because he's made a load of modules all about using tape mechanisms. He's done some amazing work. I'm really looking forward to sharing some of that with you. He's brilliant. So, but big thanks, Jack, though, for the loan of edges. You know, if anyone does have an edges for sale, please get in touch. I really do want to get one, although they tend to go for a lot more money than it, you know, than I'm not the biggest fan of it, if I'm honest. And for the large space that it takes up, I have got another Platts. I would rather a Platts in there, and I've got another Ripples that would fit into the space of there. Or another thought I was having was to put another Stages in, because the Stages, I'll talk about Stages in a bit, but it's a super versatile module. So yes, we've got our 4-voice chiptune. Then next we've got Frames, which again is another of these large 18 HP modules, same size as Edges, I think, or as Edges, no, Edges is 20 HP, I think. Yeah. And now Frames is a really tricky one to explain, but in a very simple way is you've got like 4 attenuators, and you can create sort of scenes, and then you can morph between the different scenes with the large knob. You can do all sorts of stuff with it, and I think I probably will build a patch around that one. Then we've got Shelves, and Shelves is a very underrated module in a way. It's actually very powerful. It's a 4-band EQ. But you can modulate every part of it, and it's got the little breakout, because this is a Shelves Mark 1 actually. All that the Mark 2 was the extra outputs for the 2 middle bands. I've got little high pass, low pass, and band pass outputs for each, and then that just became integrated into the module, and there's 2 HP narrower as a result. Okay, then we got Clouds. Doesn't really need much introduction. Mysteriously though, one of the sockets broke the other day. I don't know how it broke, but it broke. I found the broken part. Thankfully though, it's the in right, so generally I'd imagine send in a mono feed. The assembler has only got mono auxiliary sends, so it's not too bad. So I'm not in a mad rush to get it fixed. I would like to get it fixed at some point. I was quite upset when I found the broken socket. No idea how it happened. Okay, bottom row, Braids, which is the macro oscillator that you know, really groundbreaking module. I think when this one came out, I mean, it's quite an old module really. Braids, one of the first ones. Many different oscillator modes. Was superseded by Platts, so in a way it's not really like a Mark 1 and a Mark 2. There's some similarities, but they are quite different from each other as well, and the operation of them is completely different. I feel that the inclusion of both of them was kind of essential. Then next to there we got Streams. Now Streams is a little bit of an anomaly. You can use it as a compressor, you can use it as a Vactral gate emulator. It's all about dynamics. Streams, all about dynamics. I'm really curious to see if anyone is going to use that for the challenge. It is good, but it's kind of, yeah, I'm keen to see someone do good things with this. Then we got the big beast that is Elements. You know, what is it? 30 HP, 34 HP. I'm not sure. Big module. Physical modeling, full synth voice, including effects. Terrific, really. The second part of you've kind of got the exciter part and you've got the resonator part, and this part of it really was the foundation of Rings, but again they're quite different really. Rings has a lot more other things that this one can't do. And then next to that we got Grids, and Grids is one of my favorites. It's just like a 3-channel drum sequencer. You kind of got a kick channel, snare channel, and a hi-hat channel. Just creates gate patterns, and you can kind of move around a map of different pre-made grooves, but there's thousands, millions, God knows how many possible variations. And then next to it we've got branches. Now, branches is a Bernoulli gate, which is essentially like a coin toss. You've got like, so you can put a gate signal in, and depending on where the knob is set, it'll either come out of A or B or run, and you can change the bias. If you put the knob all the way over, then the gates will only come out of whichever direction that you go to. If you don't patch into them, they will carry through. So one gate can come in. You can take one gate in and take 4 out, and play with the probabilities as very much as a performance tool. It's kind of cool, and as we'll see, when we talk about marbles, quite a bit of the functionality of branches migrated over into marbles. Oh, hang on, I'm just going to see, there are a few questions. Have I put this up on Modular Grid? Yes. I don't know if I've made it public yet, but I have created the whole thing in Modular Grid, so I should probably make that public. I'll do that, and I'll put a link to it in the notes below for afterwards. Okay. Oh, I see another question. It's 34 HP. Sorry. Yes. Thank you. Not a question, but yeah, but that's Elements. Okay. So I'm just gonna plow on. I hope I haven't. I'm just gonna look back through the questions. Sorry. It all flies back. If I've got a really small window where the comments. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay, that's the bottom one. Moving up to this one then. Platts, as I mentioned, the macro oscillator, phenomenal. What a genius module. One of the greatest modules ever made, I think. What a brilliant sounding. I mean, you can use it as a full synth voice, really. It's kind of got its own little envelope that it can generate. So you can use that. You can do a lot with that. Next door to that is Veils, which is a 4-channel VCA. Really, really flexible. You can do a lot of cool things with Veils. For instance, you can feed in. You can use it like a mixer. Yeah, CV control. It's really cool. It can do a lot. Ripples is next to it, which is a wonderful filter. Really great filter that's got low pass, band pass, and high pass outputs. Switchable from 12 to 24 dB. 2 inputs. Input 1 also gets a little drive control, which is really nice. And also there's a level input there where you can use it like there's like a built-in VCA as well. So again, really, really, really cool. I noticed that Behringer are making all of these, not all of them yet, but a lot of them, and selling for unbelievably cheap. I'm not sure if quite a lot of them aren't out yet, but I think Ripples is going to be £34, which is, yeah. But the old Behringer debate, it's a bit of a funny one, but as these modules are no longer in production, don't know. I mean, certainly super affordable. Anyway, moving on. Shades, very simple little 3-channel attenuator with switchable kind of unipolar, bipolar kind of operation. Next to that is actually, this is quite an old one, but it was in production. Yeah, I think called Peaks, but I think that one, yeah, I don't think this was made towards the end, but Peaks is you put triggers into it, and you can take the trigger and you can make a whole bunch of things from it. So you can have triggerable LFOs, triggerable envelopes, and it's even got some drum voices in it as well. So you can just use it as a 2-channel drum voice. So yeah, quite a curious one, Peaks, but very, very, very useful. Although very useful. There's some brilliant clones of peaks. I've got a fantastic one from After Later, which gives you CV controls over everything. There's no CV inputs on. That's one of the downsides of this peaks, is that, yeah, you've got the trigger inputs, but that's it. But the Rainier is the one I think I've got. It's got it's got CV inputs, but it's also got gain outputs, so you can change the outgoing strength, which is great for envelopes or whatever. But yeah, peaks. Blinds next to it is a VC polarizer, which essentially is like a kind of, it's like a VCA, but it can have a negative yeah, so you can you can do some really cool things with it. It's you've got CV inputs on there as well, and yeah, so you can put like bipolar signals into it, and it's utility module. It's good. Next door to that is Tides, which is a bit of a beast module. Tides, it's a ostensibly what it calls itself, a tidal modulator, and you've got 4 outputs, and you can do a lot of stuff with this. You can turn it into an oscillator if you want, and you can do chords out of the 4 different outputs. You can, yeah, you can do like, you can do it as envelopes, or you can do it as LFOs. It's a really, really cool flexible module there. I skipped over Stages, didn't I? Duh. Stages is an astonishing module in that completely configurable. You could make it into like a 6-stage envelope, but it could also be just 6 like decay envelopes, or 6 LFOs, or you can create like groupings. So you could have it as 3 AD or AR envelopes. Yeah, so it's just how you patch it, really. If you plug a gate in at the beginning, then the gate, then it'll pass through all the way along the trigger. So depending where you put the gate will determine kind of the behavior of it. I won't go into it. It's a bit complicated to explain. Okay, here then on the bottom left is the collaboration that Mutable Instruments did with Music Thing Modular. So it's ostensibly a contact microphone and a preamp that can send out like an envelope based on sort of whatever's coming in, like an envelope follower, or a gate signal, or just like an out. So there's a lot of gain. There's a lot of gain available on there. So like we can plug our dynamic mic in there, and it's not too bad sounding, actually. It's pretty good. Sadly, it's in this black and gold color scheme, which I don't know if they ever did one in the official mutable color scheme. Anyway, but next to that is Warps. Warps is calls itself I think a meta modulator. So Warps is good for if you want to do things like it's like a really super duper ring modulator. It can also do vocoding, wave folding. It's got an internal oscillator, and yeah, there's some really can make some really, really beastie sounds of that. Then next to it is one of my all-time favorite modules, Marbles. And Marbles I could go on and on and on about. I've done a bunch of streams in the past about it. But Marbles, it calls itself a random sampler. Not really a sampler in the traditional sense, but it's sort of sampling CV. It's a tricky one to explain, Marbles, but you can kind of think of it as like a Turing machine. If you don't know what a Turing machine is, it's sort of like it'll generate some random voltage, and then you can loop that random voltage. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be using that. Oh, hello, Tom from Synth Anatomy, and Tom is saying that we bought the Chaos. Yeah. €80 for a Chaos. Yeah, that, I mean, wow. wow. I mean, it's cheap. Marbles is, I think Marbles is the module that opened Eurorack modular for me. That was the module that really changed everything, because it introduced workflow that I'd never experienced before. It really is a unique and specific to modular kind of thing, really. But essentially you've got three pairs of CV and gates, which are kind of related, or you can change the relationship, and you've got like a separate output as well, a Y output, which gives you another adjustable modulation source. So yeah, 7 outputs, and that's, I won't talk too much about it now because I'm going to use it. I'm definitely going to be using that when I take the challenge, so I'll explain as I'm going along what's going on. Next door to that here, like just a little for you, we've got links, and links is just like a utility module. You've got the top bit, one in, 3 outs. Middle one is like a kind of what do they call it, precision adder, is it? You've got 2 ins and 2 outs, so it'll mix those 2 inputs together and you can take that in out of both outs. And then you've got 3 ins and 1 out, more of like a 3-to-1 traditional mixer. Super useful. Next to that is the mighty blades. Blimey, second to last module that Mutable Instruments released is a dual filter. If you push the shift button in, then you can kind of link them, and you can do stereo operation with them. But I was always thinking it was a stereo, that was its focus, as being a stereo filter. I remember talking about it on Sonic States and when it first came out, because there was a talk about it being how stereo filters were just starting to become more of a thing in Eurorack. Stereo as well. I mean, a lot of Eurorack was really built around mono signal paths. But we got a bunch of stereo in this as well. Well, actually, just quickly, stereo, you can kind of treat Platts as stereo because it's got an out and an auxiliary out. Depending on the different modes, you'll get different results of how that works in stereo, but some of it does sound good in stereo. What else is stereo out? You can use warps in a sort of similar way, in a sort of stereo way as well, because that's got an auxiliary output as well. But yeah, blades we can use. We can take 2 outputs and use that, definitely stereo. Rings we can use in stereo. Beads also is stereo. And on the bottom row, clouds are stereo, elements are stereo, and no, braids only has the single output. But streams, actually, you can latch them together, there's 2 channels in streams, and you can indeed make that like a stereo processor, dynamics processor. It's like stereo compression, for instance, and it's awesome. Actually, it does sound really good, very analog. So speaking of analog and digital, there's a mixture really across these, quite a lot of digital. I think Mutable were one of the first Eurorack makers to really embrace what digital can do. But I should actually stay on course though, because I was talking about blades. You got two channels. As I say, you can come out in stereo, but if you come out in mono, then you can change the routing, and you can actually modulate the routing as well. So there's a lot of fun to be had if you treat it as a mono source. Mono output. But of course you can take the mono output and the stereo outputs as well simultaneously. So lots of possibilities with that. It's got really cool drive on there with like a kind of wave shaper on the drive. So yeah, there's a lot. This is packing a lot. It's very nice. Okay, next to that then is Kinks, and Kinks looks very similar to Lynx, sounds very similar to Lynx, but actually you've got 3 sections. The first section, you can plug in, if you plug in a waveform, you can then take out, like a rectified or a half rectified, or like a kind of like a sine. Yeah, it is good. I find if you put a modulation source into that, then it gives you 3 different flavors then that you can kind of turn it into, which is kind of cool. The next bit is a logic circuit. In A, in B, you got then a maximum and a minimum output, so you can do some logic stuff. And then at the bottom we got a sample and hold, which is normalized to the noise output. So there's also there's a noise source there, and that's always good to have a noise source. But yeah, if you don't patch into the in, then you can take out a sample and hold based off the noise, I think. Or yeah, you put a trigger in, and then it'll sample and hold from the noise. So yeah, cool, neat little thing actually. Next to that is the Mighty Rings, which is truly beautiful module. Really, it is a gorgeous module. You can make the just some of the most delightful sounds. And then next to that then is the final module, and I think this is the module that, you know, broke the proverbial camel's back. I think the straw that broke the camel's back. Ostensibly Clouds Mark II. Again, it's different enough to justify the two being in this. Granular processor. In fact, I tend to think of it more as an effects processor. You can turn it into a stereo delay. It's got I really enjoy the reverb on it. There's, you know, it's a single knob reverb, but as with a lot of mutable stuff, there's a lot of really nice little sweet spots to find on it. Peculiarly though, it's like there's 2 kind of models in here. From counterclockwise to noon, you've got it's based on Thoreau's cabin, which is like a little, just to do with American history. It's a little cabin, I think, near, I think it's Boston, I think in the States. Don't really know much, but I don't know why, but they've like somehow got an impulse from this famous cabin. And then past 12 o'clock, you got a strip mall spa, I think. Just peculiar, don't understand. And in fact, it's funny, when you read the mutable manuals, there is some really quirkily written manuals. And speaking of manuals, the mighty Sloon created this, and this is going to be accompanying the rig everywhere it goes. And it's the manuals, but really printed nice and big, so you can kind of, when you're panicking doing the challenge, then it's all laminated. Epic job turning all the manuals in. So yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, Sloon, for that. Okay, I'm just going to quick look at the chat. It all seemed to be chatting away there. Okay, so now I've gone through it all. Please begin the fun. Yeah, sorry, that was an awful lot of chat then. But yeah, I wanted to just at least just talk through this now. So as I mentioned, then pretty much, I think it's fair to call this a complete Mutable Instruments rig. You know, I think that if you look on the legacy page, Mutable Instruments website, and if you look down the left hand column, it's just these. I mean, there is the Mark 1 and the Mark 2's a little bit different, but as I say, the Mark 2's where, you know, it makes sense, and as I say, it all fits in there. And I think if anyone is a bit pedantic and say, oh, it's not the complete, I think it's complete enough, and I don't think it's worth getting drawn into that anymore, really. Okay, so now the challenge. So when people have been taking the challenge, I let them familiarize a little bit with it before starting the stopwatch. I'm going to see if I've got this little clock I can use. Oh, no, it's over there. Can't be bothered. I'll just have to. I'll set a clock. I'll set a timer off on my phone, and then that'll that should work to keep me in the well. I'm giving everyone an hour, so I should really give myself an hour, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, okay. So yeah, I gotta get ready. Okay. Really looking forward to doing this actually. So far the challenges that have been already done have been very different from each other. And I'm really curious to see on Saturday at the Dutch Modular Fest, those 4 different challenges, just what is going to happen. Yeah, so it'll be quite interesting. I'm really, really interested to see. Okay, so without further ado then, let me just make sure my mixer is all kind of zeroed, and then I'll take it from there. Yeah, again, thank you to synthcables.com for, they've actually supplied me with some of the utility cables, which is really kind. Just a big shout out to them. And yeah, and also to Jack again for the loan of edges. Right, okay. Do I say, oh, if, I don't know what that means. You mean, if I can get, I'll share the modular grid thing. So I think most of this would be buildable in VCV Rack. I don't know if any of you out there know if all of the modules have been made into VCV Rack versions. I'm pretty sure most of them, if not all of them, are. So yes, yeah, I don't actually use it, so I don't know. Right, okay. Anyway, I've just waffled on for far too long. Now we need some action. So I'm going to set my stopwatch off. 1 hour countdown. And we're off. Okay. Just right. Oh, where to go? Right. Okay. So I mentioned I'm going to use frames. I think frames doesn't get a lot of love, or not enough love. It's really cool. So, right. So I'm going to use marbles then, and I'm going to use frames for kind of controlling marbles. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up 3 voices. So I'm going to use marbles, the 3 sets of outputs of marbles, to drive 3 different voices. So I'll come out of the gate 1 here, and I'll go into plats. I may as well use the trigger input and use the built-in envelope in plats, because we can do that. And then I'll take its CV out into the volt per octave. Then I think what I'll do is I'm going to take both of the outputs of it, and I'm going to put them into veils. No, I'm not. I'm going to put them into warps. Okay, so the output is, yeah, both outputs. So the algorithm 1, the sort of the first algorithm on warps is a simple crossfader. So I can kind of mix between the 2 outputs of plats. And then, oh, I think I am going to do this. I'm going to do a send from the mixer into clouds, and then I'll come out of clouds as a stereo out of clouds and into one of the stereo channels of the assembler. And we can see as the colours start coming in, you know, these nice right, let's see. Yeah, so now, oh yeah, if I take a couple of outputs from warps, no, I'm just going to take a single output from warps and I'll go into just a single mono channel, channel 1 there on the assembler. So now we'll start bringing this up, and then we should, I think, let's just get this all input, turn it on, and we don't have any sound as yet, so let's figure that out. It's coming out of here into here. Okay, let's just put this on. There we go. Oh, I know why. Let's get a bit more level. Okay. Okay. So. It's so mighty, Platts. So Marbles then is acting like a sequencer. This is a one step. Little 2-step. I think I want a filter, so I'm going to use ripples. So I'll patch out of ripples. Ooh, sorry about that. Resonance is all the way up. Pop that in, and let's go. So we'll come out of warps and then into ripples. Ripples calls it itself a liquid filter, and I really like that. It sounds really great filter. Fantastic filter. Okay. So, I mentioned I was going to use frames. Now, let's patch up frames with marbles and then try and explain what's going on. So, I'm going to use it in the 10 volt offset. So, meaning that this is just going to be outputting like CV. So, if I it's got the bias turned all the way down. So if I patch this now into bias, so really now I've kind of replaced that knob with this knob, and I'm going to do that one into the second output into spread. Okay, so now, so this knob is kind of replacing this knob. Why do I want to do that? Well, we'll see in a moment. But what I'm going to do now is I want to create another voice. So I'm going to use braids. But this time I'm going to take the gate out and I'm going to put it into streams. So I'm going to take the output, braids into streams. I'm going to plug it into shelves then, and then out into its channel 2 here. I'm just going to take that one away for now, and then we're going to go and get this working. So I'm just going to go to the first one here, get some here, and then let's just make sure. Ooh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oops. Volt per octave. Not quite sure why it's doing that. Why is that doing that glissy thing? Oh. Okay. Still not quite sure why it's glissing. Ah. Just checking. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now if we bring in the other one, we can start to see how they interact with each other. So yeah, coming into shelves we can hear. Okay. Now, those two voices, I'm going to have a third voice as well, which is going to be from rings. Okay, so I'll take the middle output, put that into the volt per octave into rings, and then we're going to put the gate. Oh, I'm going to use branches, yeah. So I'll go into branches, and then I'll take an output A into the strum input. So I can have, so I can kind of act as a sort of mute. Let's just take out these two for a moment, just so we don't get too bored. And let's see, I want to go, yeah, I want a stereo. I'm going to take a stereo output of rings. Oh, and I tell you what we'll do, we'll take it into beads, and we'll have this coming out as a stereo signal. And then yeah, let's do that. Okay, great. Oh, I realise I've put them in the wrong ones. Clouds wants to come back in on aux return 1 and 2. Let's do that. Okay, just checking in with chatties. Thank you so much again for holding on here. We're gonna get it's gonna get good. This is gonna get good. We're gonna get something cool happening. Okay, so I'm just doing a little more patching, and then we're gonna then start controlling this and seeing what kind of modulations we can add to it to make it more fun. Okay, I'm just gonna. So I've got 3 voices set up now. Let's bring up this channel. And here we get this fun. I'm just going to turn all of beads off for a moment. See these, when you go into the multi-voice modes, you can just start getting these odds and evens coming out of different outputs. So we'll go for the 4 voices here. I'll have to do some tuning with this to get this working with the other things. Let's bring in our other channels now. Might tweak that tuning a little bit. As we go along. Okay. So let's bring in the other one again, like. So this is where the beauty of Marvel starts to come in then, because you get this wonderful, like, you can interact with all 3 voices and control them at the same time. So now, by closing down the spread and the bias, the random voltage isn't, or the looped voltage isn't jumping around anymore, but it's being kind of clamped. And actually, that's quite good for me to get the tuning sorted here. now we can do this business with frames. So as I said, so far I've kind of like replaced these knobs, or not replaced, but I'm controlling these knobs from here. So it's like almost like I'm automating it. This is just controlling the bias, but now if I start opening up the spread, it'll start making the notes move. So anyway, what's all this business about frames all about then? Well, we can, it's using the idea of keyframes, as in that keyframe animation. You take a setup and you kind of take like a snapshot of it, change another setting, do another snapshot, and then you can kind of smoothly kind of interpolate between those different snapshots. So the first one I'll do then is I'll just create one here, which is just this. You can't really see it very well, but is just like with them all the way off. You know, so we've got this. Okay. Then I'm going to move the knob up a little bit, and I'm going to move these up a tiny amount so they just start changing, and add a new one here. So now when I move this knob, I can sort of start controlling how much it's moving, and I'll create another one over here, and I'll open them up a little bit more. And then create another one here. I'll open them up a little bit more, and go over here, add another one here, more, and then at the top I'll add one here, and I'll kind of keep the bias like this, so it's like as though the bias is all turned all the way up, but the spread I've turned back down again. So now I can kind of move around this. Okay. Now, we want to create more interest with this. I do really like slowing everything down. Now let's start getting bring a bit of effects in, just to give everything a bit of flavour. Beads are starting to do its thing now a little bit, so you can sort of hear this. Make the beads a bit smoother sounding. Okay. So in case you're wondering then, the marbles is acting as a pitch quantizer. So we have got different scales and stuff we can use, and there's the steps control on marbles is just an absolute work of genius. what happens with steps, if I put it 12 o'clock, there's like no pitch quantizing. Let's go faster, we'll start hearing it all started sounding a bit weird and dissonant. Then, as we increase the steps, it'll start to become chromatic. You can hear it snapping now chromatically, and as we turn it up a bit more, then you go into the scale quantize, and as we turn it up more, it starts to take out the less used notes in a scale. So you'll lose the fourths and the sixes, and then you'll lose the sevenths, and then you'll just have the thirds and fifths, and then just the fifth, just like, yeah, roots, thirds, fifths. Now just the roots. Yeah, roots, and all the way over here is just roots and octaves. Now, that's all from 12 o'clock and then clockwise. Counterclockwise, you have like it'll slew and slide around. Let's put it all the way down here. So you can move that around, and that's a lot of fun. Oh, I think rings is a bit too high in there. Let's so we're gonna do some modulations on some of this stuff as well, just to kind of, with beads. One of Beads' big innovations was these little attenuate randomizers. So if you don't have anything patched in, there's internal LFOs for these controls, which is great, really. But like, if we change this now, the flavour changes so drastically. I'll take Beads out. I'm just using Beads as just a reverb for a moment. Let's get this going. Oh yeah. So, because the gates, the strum of rings is coming from branches, then we can actually govern how many of these gates are coming through. If I turn it all the way over here, we'll just get a constant. So all the way counterclockwise, because it's coming out output A, we're just getting a complete constant. Put it back to about 12 o'clock. It's kind of based on like a coin toss. So every time branches receives a trigger, it'll decide which output each, so if I turn it all the way, then clockwise, it's effectively like a mute, because it's not sending any triggers. If I put it over a little bit, we'll get the occasional one. So it's giving us a little bit. So gaining control over the patch, I think, is super important, especially from a kind of performance point of view. Like this is quite a simple little thing in a way, but a kind of And in fact, actually, if we make the rate faster on marbles, this branches becomes a bit more fun then. and we can modulate this. We can modulate this knob, you know. So either by controlling it manually or by putting something in to make that move around. So I think, yeah, let's get some modulation going on rings then first. Let's get, so it's almost sounding a bit like a bongo pattern at the moment, isn't it? So I'm just moving the position around at the moment, and that sounds quite nice. All the way over here, it's getting a little tiny clicky sort of sound. So yeah, okay, right, well, we've got a load of places we can get modulation from. So let's have a think now. Lots of these modules do have attenuators on, which is great. Obviously, it means I can get a lot more control that way. But what I think I'm going to do though is I'm going to. I think I might take an LFO. I might use peaks. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to use peaks in LFO mode. And will that reach? Yeah. So we'll do that and into position. Let's turn that up off the attenuator. I'm about halfway through. I accidentally turned my phone off, so that countdown timer, I don't know how I managed to do it. Oh, I think it's run out of batteries. What time did I start? I think I started at 20 past 10, I think, so oh well. Okay. That's nice. That's putting a bit of movement into it. But what I think I'm going to do though, to get more value out of my LFO, is I'm going to put it into kinks. And then I'm going to see what different, I can use this one LFO multiple times in different forms then. Let's do some more. So brightness could be good. So yeah, let's get a bit of brightness modulated. So these kind of related, there'll be like nice related LFOs. So let's see what happens if we do a bit of dampening as well, because I think that'll have a big effect. So I think we'll definitely need to use it. Nice. Nice slow. I need to refer to the manual a minute. I want to see on peaks. I'm trying to know all of this stuff, but there's a lot of stuff to know. Especially some of them are quite obscure. Okay, I just want to see what peaks, what the LFO. Okay. Frequency, waveform, wave shape variation, and initial phase. Okay. So I'll put the initial phase over here. It's a shame that you can't really modulate these things. As I say, I can on my clone. And that's what's really nice with these mutable clones, is some manufacturers have taken this incredible gift, as I mentioned, all these wonderful open source modules, and kind of expanded and tried to improve on them. But there's something really lovely about the original mutable firmware, though, which is definitely something I want to, exploit really with this mutable challenge. Okay, so we've got some. It's a bit weird, but it gives us a sort of like some sort of percussive quality to our patch. This does. I'm actually thinking of an idea. Oh yeah, let's try this. So I'm going to take the B output, I'm going to put it into the trigger 2, and then I'm going to just run this into the mixer. In fact, I'm going to move... move braids across, and oh yeah, I'm going to move plats across as well. And the reason I'm doing this is into channel 1 and 2 on the assembler I've got EQ, but I don't know if I'm going to use that, because that might be cheating. But what it is I'm going to set peaks channel 2 to be a drum. No, I've done this wrong. I'm gonna have to swap these around. I'm gonna put channel 2 to be the LFO. I'm just gonna swap these over. The reason for this is when you're doing it in drum mode, channel 1 is a kick and channel 2 is a snare, and I just thought it might be quite nice to have a kick. Okay, so turn it on. That reverb we were hearing was I patched clouds in as an effects end. Okay. Now I'm running peaks in what's called split mode, expert mode rather, so I can toggle. If I go to channel 1, all 4 knobs control channel 1, so control the LFO. Sorry, channel 1 is controlling the kick, and channel 2 is controlling that LFO. So I'll try and get that. I need to play with that LFO again. There we go. Okay, and then go back into, let me just have a look in the manual again. Oops. And what I'm going to do is on peaks, I'm just going to look at what the controls are for the kick. I can't quite remember what all of them do. Yeah, there's quite a few drums dotted around our, you know, so peaks could be 2 drums, plats and braids can both do drum duties, but you can get some great drums out of elements as well. Okay, let me have a look here. So, okay. Frequency modulation, attack and decay. So if we want to do nice big long ones there. And the attack isn't the speed of the attack, but is an attack. It's like a kind of click, you know. So it's a pretty fully featured kick. I think it's sort of like an 808, really, isn't it? So here's the nice thing with branches is the rings and the kick are firing off. It might be a bit weird having that kick being a bit random, but I mean I could just go full okay, so now I think I'll take out I'm going to take out I'll take out the kick as well. I'll take out rings and I'm going to bring back in plats. I want to get some cool movement into plats. Yeah, and this is now, so when we've been playing with frames, I'm going to use an output of frames and I'm going to put it into links into the top part. So essentially it's acting like a buffered multiple, and then we're going to come out. So I've got 3 copies of this output of frames, one of which then I'm going to put this into the timbre control. Turn it up, turn this down here. Now what this is going to be good for is like, so on frames, if I go to any of the different keyframes that I've created, I can set different timbre amounts as well. And I think to make this, I'm going to have these 3 outputs then changing the timbre of all 3 voices. So I can hear this. So you can see now the magic of this. As I'm changing it, not only is it changing the notes, it's also changing the timbre as well. There. So what we'll do now then is we'll use this and let's take this voice out, bring this one back in, oops, let's take it out from the effect for now. Okay, really super basic sound, but this is going to give us what do I want to... I'll put it into timbre then. Okay, cool. So now when I turn this, oh yeah, hang on, modulation, let's crank that up. This is using the Vactrol now, emulation on streams. So we've got an analog filter here. It's working like a low pass gate. So we can hear the timbre changing when I change this control. Let's bring in plats again. So I think I'm having too many notes firing there. So I think I'm going to do the same trick with the other output of branches that I'm not currently using. So the trigger, this needs to go. This needs to go here into in, and then out of there, so out of channel B, and then into the excite. So now if I turn this all the way over here, so that will sort of... It's a bit nasty at the moment, not enjoying this, so... Starting to tame that a little bit now. It's a bit of a mess, not quite musical yet, so we're going to try and see if we can get this to be a bit more musical. I want... bit not the most thrilling sound. not the best. Okay. Let's see how these are working then, these two. I'll just keep braids out for a moment. I'm not really that up on braids, if I'm honest. Plaits, much more so. I know plaits quite well. So I think I want some sort of shakery kind of thing, something to give us some kind of quality. So I'm going to need a malt. Is permissible in the rules. There's a few different malts and a few attenuators as well. So I'm going to take my main output out of coming out of marbles, and I'm gonna use that. So I'm gonna try using Elements for the world's biggest hi-hat module or shaker. Right, so that's gonna go into the gate. Okay. Have we got any stereo? I could bring it back in stereo. I'll bring it back in mono for now, I think. Into channel 4. Okay. Let's see if we can turn this into something that sounds percussive. So some movement of this is going to be quite nice as well, I think. Okay, so I'll use stages in a really basic way. I'm just going to create a let's see, I'll try a few different flavors of this out. Try that into the geometry. So I want some dynamic control of this hi-hat, just a little. So I'm going to use the other channel that I've got on streams. So we'll take the output of that into streams, and then we'll patch in ooh. So I'm going to try modulating this a little bit from another output of stages. See what happens. a bit. It's a bit loud in this, turn it way down. See what happens now. Right, still struggling with this, so we're going to use clouds for this then. Feedback. It's kind of weird. Let's try a few different modes. Take one of these out then and put this into the colour control. So really I've turned, you know, I'm using frames I suppose as like a big macro knob really. Having a big effect. Now, there's a control on marbles that I haven't played around with yet, and that's the jitter control, and it's a really fun control. At the moment, it's all the way counterclockwise, so our clocks are precise. When we add more jitter, we can kind of get a little bit like kind of swing, and then it goes kind of more chaotic as you increase it. And yes, I could set up a modulation for the big knob on frames. we're having such a constant stream of notes. I think I'm going to try and, like plats, too many notes. So I'm going to try and use this other output of branches to control. So thinking, what's the best way to do this? I think I'll create. So that'll be a gate. I'll plug that into. Yeah, great. Into stages. So I'll take this out and try putting this into the level input. Let's just take out everything else for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to try and get this to. Oh, my timer! It did work! That's it! That's it! There we go, that's what I got. That's what I got to. That's what I got to. This is my mutable challenge. And this is what I managed to create. Okay. So. And there we go. The mutable challenge. That was my mutable challenge. So in case you've just joined or you joined a little bit during that time, you know, the mutable challenge then is this thing from a completely unpatched rig. You get an hour to patch it and see what you can do. And that's what I managed to do. You know, it's all right-ish. You know, I could really do with a bit more time, but God, that actually went really fast. But yeah, and this is my great patch. Wow, lots of modules didn't get used. Let's see what didn't get used. Oh, actually, no, grids didn't get used. Blinds, tides, shades. Wow, blades. I didn't really use warps properly. I did use warps, but I didn't get around to playing with it. But yeah, okay, so that was, yeah. Oh, veils, didn't use veils either. So yeah, wow, okay, interesting. Right, so if anybody's got any questions, now would be a really good time for anyone in the live audience. I'm really sorry I didn't look at any of the chat. I'll have to do that in replay. Thank you again, everybody, for joining me. This has been a real fun little trip. So I mentioned at the top, Saturday, I'll be going over to the Netherlands, to Rotterdam for Dutch Modular Fest and taking this rig, and 4 different people are going to be doing the challenge. Who knows what they're going to do? Really interested. As I say, I've filmed 4 mutable challenges so far as well. So there's going to be a little series that's going to come out, which is going to be the different challenges that people take. So as I say, this was my challenge today. I just wanted to talk about the whole thing and show you just kind of what the challenge is all about, and to see where I was able to take it. I've never actually made anything quite like that before, so that was kind of cool. It wasn't as melodically pleasing as I was hoping it was going to be, but you know, that's the nature of the beast, I guess. Yeah, so if anyone's got any questions, now would be a good time to ask. I don't know if you would have any questions, but yeah, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this little trip. And yeah, just looking through the chat a little bit. Yes, so it's going to be fun. Hey, Asio, yeah, we're going to be around on the Sunday as well. We're going back Sunday night. Um, yeah, we're going to have a really fun. We're going to have a real fun little adventure. Okay, just having a little look if I've missed anything. No questions? Anyone? Any questions before we go? But otherwise, I'm going to sign off now. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Really enjoyed this stream tonight, and yeah, the Mutable Challenge is go. Okay, I'm off. Thanks, everyone, and we'll. Oh, I tell you what, you can do for me, please. There's a new thing in YouTube where you can hype a video. It's like you just can. I'm not entirely sure what it means. You click a hype thing, and it's a way to try and get your videos seen by more people. Have I experimented with mid-sized processing in modular? Great question. Really great question. Yes, I have, because I've got a module that is that. Actually, I've got a few that specialize with sort of like a mid-size thing. The golden master, which is like kind of like a little bit of a clone of the TC finalizer in a module, lets you use like mid-side processing for controlling the stereo width. And that's quite powerful. What else have I done with mid-sides? Oh God. What other ones have I got that can do that? Oh, I can't think. I know I have. Good question. I'll have to think about that one. But yeah. Okay, Tim Dale, we'll see you at Bristronica. Yeah, so Bristronica, for everybody, is going to be 27th and 28th of September. We've got an event on the 25th of September. I should have talked about this at the beginning of the show. There's not many tickets left. If you are coming in early or fancy it, we've got the most amazing Rack Records event happening in the Cube Cinema in Bristol, and basically it's like our Rack Records launch. We've got 8 different performers who will be drawn at random at the beginning of the show to play with two people each. Player one. Each player will be assigned a number 1 to 8. The draw, then players 1 and 2 start. They play for 15 minutes. Player 1 leaves. Player 3 joins smooth transition and plays for 15 minutes. Player 2 then leaves. Player 4 joins player 3. They play for 15 minutes. Player 3 leaves, then player 1 returns and plays for 15 minutes with player 4. So everyone plays for half an hour, with player 1 playing their quarter of an hour at the beginning and at the bookending it at the end. We have an interval where we've got something really cool planned, and then the second half, players 5 to 8. It's what we did before on our Rack Records launch. Urge you to watch that if you haven't. It was a fantastic event. And then, but the thing that makes this one really special is that everybody who's taking part, they're all manufacturers, and we got some absolute legends taking part. Mr. Richard Nicol, dear friend and founder of Pittsburgh Modular, will be taking part, and then Andrew Ostler, or otherwise known as Oz, from Expert Sleepers, is also going to be taking part. And well, there's a whole list. There's eight manufacturers. Jason Mayo from Nobula. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. I should probably say everyone's names really now I've started. Alex from WMD. Now, Alex isn't the founder of WMD, but is the kind of familiar face of WMD. He does a lot of the stuff for them, and I think he's going to be brilliant in it. We also have Enrica from Making Sound Machines. She's awesome. And we have Finley Shakespeare, our local hero. He's going to be probably playing his crick, I'd imagine, so that's going to be fun. And then a wild card, I think, is going to be Paul Whittington from PWM. He's going to be bringing his Mantis, and I think maybe the Malevolent as well, which of course is Finley's synth originally in the heart of that. So that's really fun. Who have I missed out? Who did I say? So we got Jason, Finley, Paul, Enrica, Richard, Alex, Oz, and did I miss someone? I've missed someone out. Who have I missed out? Oh no, who have I? I just need a quick look. Oh my gosh, I'm on the spot now. Who have I missed out? Oh, sorry, bear with me. I'm just being a bit slow. Where's my phone? Who have I missed out? Have I missed somebody else? I don't know. Oh, of course, it's Francois from Shackmat. Now, I haven't met him, but Shackmat Modular, French company, and they make really interesting modules. So I'd imagine that he's going to bring an interesting angle. Yeah, I don't actually know him, so that's why I probably couldn't think off the top of my head. But yeah, so having these manufacturers all taking part, I don't think anything like that has ever happened before, not at any of the events I've been to. So I think this is a real special thing. That's on the 25th of September. There's not many tickets left. I think we're down to about 20 tickets left. So it's only very small. It's a 100-seater. It's an old cinema. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful place. But yeah, and our Ryan, our Arcaton, is going to be doing something in the bar area as well. So yeah, so that'll be fun. Yeah, great. Okay, that's it. Just so I probably will talk about that event again before it happens. But I mean, this is probably, if you are coming or you are in the area and you fancy coming on, that's on Thursday, the 25th of September. Yeah, there's not many tickets left, but yeah, wonderful. Okay, everybody, thanks so much. I'll be back next week. Tuesday is my new streaming day. So tell all your friends. We'll have a big party. Thanks. Bye-bye.